welcome to un-arithmetic reviews. Alpha here. Before we start today's review, I would like you to hit on the subscribe button if you haven't, and also like this video. And as the discussion goes on, and you have any comments, you do that in the comment section below. Alright, so let's get today's review started. On today's review, we are going to discuss some selected poems in the anthology Cycles by Akanbi or Rhoda, who also goes by the name Zoe. Life is unpredictable. It's a journey full of challenges, setbacks, and heartaches, and even perils. There are sometimes accomplishments in life, and there are sometimes memories that are bad and good memories. But then all these up and downs in life actually lead us to a destination, right? That is our purpose in life. The road or the journey through life isn't one that is easy, or it isn't one that is like a journey through a field of roses. I mean, even roses do have thorns in them. So just to say that life's journey is up and down. Sometimes there are good times, sometimes there are bad times, and other times you rise, other times you fall, and all that. And all these are part of the journey that we call life. And that is, this is a concept that the book Cycles, or the poetry anthology Cycles, actually do talk about. So when you take the book Cycles, the blurb itself starts with, there is no arithmetic to live in. No one could mark the distinct thin line methodologies of life. And that is what's the first line that begins the blurb or the description of the book. This is to say that there is no manual to life journey, right? The journey throughout life, we experience many situations. Some will be filled with happiness and some will be filled with pain and grief, just as I mentioned earlier. However, how we generally respond to such situations in our life is what makes, or is what determines the journey, right? So whenever situations don't really go well in your life, though you focus on the bad side, accept defeat, and then let things go, or you actually pick up, accept that you've made a mistake, and then what, journey through, go ahead, and then what, pedal through life. So this is to say that basically there are two choices in life. When things don't go well for you, you either allow yourself to be beaten up and then accept defeat, or you either rise up and then fight or forge forward. So the anthology starts with a prologue which sets the tone for what readers are to expect from the book. The prologue is just one stanza poem, and that poem itself encapsulates the whole concept of the book. And I am not surprised the poet decided to use that as the opening poem for the book. And the poem starts with a persona. This time around, our persona isn't the one, the poet is about. The persona is rather looking through, if you should say, a glass of some sort, or it's a third person, omniscient person looking through a journey of someone's life. And this person is rather riding a bicycle or a scooter, if you will, or should we say, the poet decided to use the scooters and analogy, or that's picture of someone riding with a bicycle or scooter, to project the idea of the poem. That's while the person is riding, there are sometimes they get to a bumpy road, they have to bump and then come down. Sometimes they even take wrong turns and all that. And all these are the idea that the poet uses to project the idea of the journey through life, that there are ups and downs and all that. So I will read the prologue, and then we discuss, we look at the lines and probably look at the general meaning of it, and then move on to the next poem. So this is the prologue. Carousel stopped rotating at life's back. Yin and Yang took different routes. Cycling this scooter was never an easy ride. Life's travesty, a bump is at every ditch. Every time when you make the wrong turn, spin on the air, home is never far away. So the persona in this poem seems to be an omniscient viewer or an eye watching someone ride a scooter, as I said earlier. And throughout her ride, we get to find out that cycling the scooter was never an easy ride, suggesting that life has never been easy for the rider. Another line that supports the fact that the journey through life sometimes becomes hard is lines 5 and 4 here. Life's travesty. The bump is at every ditch, every time when you make a wrong turn. However, in the end, the persona tells the rider to spin on because home is not far away. That's, I would say, such an enthusiastic end to a somewhat gloomy poem, looking at how the earlier line started with someone riding through life and going through hardship. So then the poet suddenly ends with the fact that home is never far away. That is to say that whatever you're going through in life, at the end of the day, definitely there's going to be sunset, or there is going to be daybreak, let me put it that way. So if there is sunset on your life or your journey, definitely there's going to be daybreak. There is a time that is coming that things are going to get better, right? That is what the poet is saying. Or also, if you are someone who also veer towards the more dark, end of poetry, you could also interpret that line as that's coming, and not the suicide kind of that, but then that someone journeys through life's hardship, having in mind that one day they are going to die probably, and then have rest, as we all say that there is more sleep or there is rest in death. They are going to find rest in death, or probably go home to their maker and then find rest in his bosom. So then home is never far away. Whichever interpretation you decide to go with, it's up to you, the reader, and what you are exposed to and what you believe with, whether to go with the enthusiastic way. I mean, even that one wouldn't also be such, it would also be enthusiastic in a way, because of course it's a hope that people have. It's a belief that at the end of death they are going to find peace. So whichever way you go with. Moving on to the next poem, which is the first next poem on the list, that is the title Cycles, which I believe inspired the title for the whole anthology. We are going to read that poem. It's a 6-stanza poem with vivid imagery and symbolism that portrays the whole general idea of journeying through life. So we'll read that poem and then do one or two analysis of that poem and then bring the review to an end. So this is the first poem, Cycles. In a tight loop, I find myself again. A walk here and there, still within the circle. Cycles, a walk here and there, I still find myself rooted here, stuck to this scooter called feelings. Feelings, hold my hand and not let go. It's the same old rule I say. Let's wait for a song that becomes none when all is gone. Circles run around it is, from love's light to the bliss, then the craziness that comes with deafening silence, to the questions that caught one's mind, staring you awake on sleepless nights. Denial sticking out like an ugly tooth, creating waves of insanity as you breathe through realization. To your weak heart, accept it all. It's a circle I've rode in, a cycle my legs have pedaled. Cycles I hate. So, as can be seen from the poem I just read, the poem just opens abruptly into the situation of the persona who is in a tight loop, as said by the poem. And based on line 2 of that same stanza, you get to know that it wasn't the first time the persona was in that kind of ordeal, but rather the persona says, I find myself again, which suggests that the again, they suggest that the persona usually goes to whatever situation or feeling they are going through before the readers even get to adjust to that. The persona goes on to reiterate his or her situation in the stanza 2. And it says that cycles, a walk here and there, I still find myself rooted here, stuck to this scooter called feelings. Stanza 2, lines 1 to 4. So moving on to the other lines, we get to find out that the persona probably has gone through a heartbreak or some sort, or something that they've gotten themselves into that they feel they shouldn't have been, but then they have decided that they will cycle through it. This generally also gives the whole idea the anthology wants to portray, right? So I will read the blurb of the book again, the description for the book, and then leave it, because I know that at this point you would want to know more about the anthology, know about more about the poems in the anthology. So what's are the questions that are raised in the anthology about life? What are the answers the poets gives, or are they even answers at all? I'm sure these are questions that are coming up in your mind. And what I've read, the poems I've read so far, you will want to know how much more can you get yourself immersed in the poetic world of the poets. So you would want to get circles on all bookshops, that is Smashword, papab.com, and Amazon to read. So before I leave you, I would read the blurb for the book again, then you now get a copy for yourself and read to find out more about Cycles by Akanbi or Rhoda. Life is a voyage, and you can only define in retrospect. Who could discern the dots that would hit the bull's eye, the cigarette that triggered cancer problems, or the sip of liquor that started drunkenness? There is no arithmetic to live in. No one could mark the distant thin line methodologies of life. Cycles is a compilation of lots of poems inspired by the personal fluctuating un-arithmetic experience of life and love, the actuality, the flux, the circles of it, aimed at expressing the beautiful and the ugly, the melancholic, along with the ecstatic perceptions of the theme. Journey with this poetic genius while she sails gracefully, intellectually, ferrying without restrictions into this voyage, the circles of life and love. And so, as I said, it's available in all ebook formats on all bookshops online, mostly papab.com and Smashwords, and then Amazon. Get a copy of this book, and then when you are done reading, you can leave review on the website, and also come here in our comment section and also leave your comments on how you felt reading this amazing collection of poetry. So this is where we'll bring today's session of un-arithmetic poetry review. So we meet again next time. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Like this video and then leave comments. And until then, we'll meet again. I'm Alpha.